How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tales from the Darkside, Season 2, Episode 6, and this one's entitled The Satanic Piano. This is from November 3rd, 1985, and is directed by John Harrison. This episode stars Michael Warren, Lisa Bonet, Phil Roth, and Felice Orlandi. The teleplay was written by this episode's director, John Harrison, but this episode is based on a short story by Carl Jacobi. And this is about a successful, yet down on his luck musician, and he can't quite get the new song that he wants. However, he gets a mysterious phone call telling him about a mysterious new instrument that can help out his career, and it turns out it's a special high-tech piano that can read your mind and play the songs as they are in your head. So whatever you're thinking, the song in your head can be played on this piano, and of course, that's too good to be true. There has to be some sort of price behind it. Overall, this is a pretty good episode. It's got a lot of interesting concepts in it, and overall, I really do love that concept of the ideas in your head versus trying to get them out, you know? There was it was a painter, I heard a quote from him a long time ago, I can't remember who it was, but this guy said, "Why bother painting when ideas are so beautiful?" And yeah, when you make something, it always is going to come out different and change after you make it. And sometimes you get, unexpected little differences that you could have never thought of. But so many times when you're thinking about making something, be it a song or a painting or a movie, you want it to turn out exactly like you have it in your mind, but you just, actually doing it, the real world constraints, is something you have to really work around. And the idea of a piano that will just play exactly what's in your head as you picture it, to anyone who makes things, this is just really, really enticing and a really interesting concept, and that really does help, reel you in, And another good thing with this episode is the relationship he has with his daughter. He's a single father. I think they're divorced and she's spending time with him. And the daughter really does love him. She is playing the piano herself, and you really see her get into it, go, "No, that's not quite right. Let's change the song and do it like this." And she's following in her father's footsteps, and she's doing things like writing a song for him to, show him how much she loves him. And it really is a sweet relationship. And then you see, because the dad's all stressed out because he can't get this song out, he's having problems with contract negotiations, he's stressed, and he can't really feed into this relationship right now. He is kind of blowing off this daughter that clearly loves him, and because of all this love that there was a happier past, and it's kind of sad to see that this is the beginning of what could be a crumbling relationship, and you can tell that there were happy days behind them, and the daughter's trying to keep that momentum going. It's a really interesting relationship, and, the daughter is a really good character in this, But that being said, this is definitely one of those episodes that I think could use a modern remake. Modern TV has a much higher budget than 80s TV, and I feel like if this had a modern remake and we could give it, a better budget, we could give it more time, we could make it longer, I feel like this is one that really could use a modern TV treatment. First thing, the music. This is an episode all about music and getting out the big epic songs in your head, and why the music in this episode is good for 80s TV. This is definitely one of those cases where with modern TV budgets, you could hire a really good composer and just make some absolutely insane tracks. I mean, this is music how we hear it in our head versus how we play it. You know, this could really get, especially towards the end, really big and epic and crazy and over the top. And it's definitely one of those things like, I'm like, it's good as it is, especially considering 80s TV budgets. But this is one with a remake, I could really see the music reaching its full potential and it being something that people want to buy soundtracks for. I mean, yeah, that'd be unreasonable to expect it from old-timey 80s TV, but that's kind of what the episode is trying to talk about, you know, so that is kind of a flaw right there. And also, the piano itself, you know, if we had more time and development, we could have got more of its origin story, and we could have also seen it done more scary things, you know? The origin story, there's like a brief throwaway line the producer talks about, which kind of hints at where it came from, but that's pretty much it, and I would like to know more about the science behind it, the science magic line and where the two meet, but, you know, you don't have time in a 22-minute episode. And also, you know, you see at the beginning a dead body, you know, someone that was killed by this piano, and that's really it as far as, you know, other than the end bit where it winds up with our main characters, you know? So you don't see the piano killing off a bunch of people, although I don't know if you do want to do that. But I would like to see the piano do scarier things, you know, and especially nowadays, you know, you have so much, you know, surreal horror. I think you could really blend that into the music. And yeah, like I said, this is a good 80s TV version of the story, but I just think that nowadays, better surreal horror, more budget and time, you could get a better a bigger composer. You know, I really think this episode could be done better now. It's good for what it was when it was, but man, I could definitely see a crazy, much better modern version of this. But as it stands, a really cool concept, and I really did like the guy and him trying to do better and getting stuck and wanting to be better, and then his daughter who loves him that he's not spending enough time with. There's good stuff here. It's just, you know, I think it could definitely warrant a remake. But anyway, with all that being said, I want to do a little bit of a deeper analysis. I'm going to be talking about the plot now. I'm going to avoid the major spoilers, so I won't be talking about the end. But from here, I'm going to talk about the plot in a little bit more detail. Anyway, we open up with this musician in his apartment, and you can see all across the walls, there's, you know, awards, magazine covers, records. You can tell that this guy is successful, and he's playing the piano, but he eventually quits it out of frustration, and he sits on the couch, and his daughter comes in and starts playing, and she's like, I think if we change this, it could be a little better here. And I like seeing the daughter work and understanding what her father's doing and really getting into it. It's a really nice relationship, but he's suffering too much right now to really invest back into it. Eventually, the agent will come in, and the agent says he doesn't have the best news. You see, the record company he's working with would love to keep him on, but it's the same royalty rate and no new signing bonus for the contract. And he's like, whoa, wait, that's you know, it's keeping the same deal he had, but he's like, they should give me a raise, they should pay me more. I won a Grammy, I sell really well, why are they trying to give me this so-so deal and keep me where I have been? You know, so yeah, why aren't they giving him a better deal? Well, it turns out because of his contract, he still owes them one more album, so whether or not he signs on again, he still has to work with them for a little bit. But also, the record company doesn't like any of his new tracks, and that, of course, is going to upset him. You know, he worked really hard on them, and they say they all suck, which yeah, that's going to really upset a guy like that, so it's going to throw him into even more stress. But later that day, he gets a mysterious phone call. Who are you? How do you have this number? And the guy says, don't mind all that. I have an instrument for you. An instrument that will change your life. And he's like, so what, are you a salesman? Is this some novelty thing? And then he drops a few facts. He's like, hey, I know you're having trouble with your record company, and I know you're having trouble making that new song. Here's an address. Be there. And then he hangs up because he knows that he's laid enough bait that this guy's definitely gonna show up. And of course he does. He goes down to the guy's place. The guy's door has this weird musical lock where it's buttons with different music notes and you know the right tune and you can get in, which, granted, how it actually plays the notes means that anyone walking by could hear that tune. It's one of those that's cool, but in real life not really effective, but an interesting mechanism. And you open up the door and his room is surrounded by strange curiosities, various magical things, you know, and I feel like if this was done nowadays, there would be a ton of Easter eggs in the background, you know, but anyway, an interesting room, and he has something with a sheet over it. Where's this new instrument? Yank the sheet off of it, and it's an electronic keyboard with a big computer part in the back, and there's glass, so you can see the wires and the lights inside of it. Now, the short story this is based on, I think, is a little on the older side, so I'm wondering if this computer element is a new addition for the show. I'd be kind of curious to read the original story. I've said this before, but Darkside stories, the original, you know, prose short stories, aren't necessarily the easiest things to find, and I really wish they would reprint, you know, a short story collection for Darkside. They actually did a volume 1 of that concept back in the day, but it's well out of print now, and I would really love to see them go back and do that. That would really be great. But anyway, he sees the computer, and the guy is talking about its looping and playback function and how it can record anything you play on it. And the guy's like, this is just a fancy piece of tech. I've heard of, and I have every fancy piece of tech. I'm one of the best musicians in the world. I have access to everything. You can't impress me with technology. I've seen it all before. And that's where the guy goes, oh, maybe I can. Think about the song you were trying to write yesterday. And he thinks about it, and the computer will start playing the song. The computer can read his mind and play it on the piano, and of course you get little keys moving by themselves, which is always cool. And then that's impressing him. It can read his mind and play it on the piano, and it makes a song he was playing yesterday. But then the guy goes, don't think about how you were playing it. Think about the song that you wanted it to play. And then the music gets way better, and it really starts to, you know, heat up. And the guy goes, I have to have this. If this is a piano that can get out the songs as they are in my head, I have to have it. And the guy that made it goes on this speech about creation and how you have inspiration, but then you go and try to do it, and it doesn't turn out as well as in the inspiration. A good speech. But when he talks about actually buying it, he says, I'll pay any price, and it goes, not money. How about you take it home, you try it out, and then once you've tried it out for a while, then we can talk about the price. Already a little shady there. You know that there is going to be a price. This is definitely too good to be true, but what is it? And I won't spoil what the price is or the twist behind this episode or the finale, but I will say I do like how this episode ends and plays out. It really gets to this big, epic, climactic moment when you see, oh no, that's really what the price is gonna be, and the things go crazy. And again, this is another one where I'm like, if it had a better budget, it could have gone even crazier, but for 80s TV at the time, a pretty solid finale. So overall, why I do think this, would have been better if it was allowed more nutrients to feed off of and more time and stuff. I think that, for the 80s TV version that it is, it's still a really solid episode. I love the guy with his relationship and trying to, figure things out. I love the concept of a piano that can play exactly the songs that are in your head. And I do think the finale's cool. I just wish it was longer and bigger, But anyway, overall, a pretty solid episode, and I had fun with it. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Tales from the Darkside playlist. I've actually talked about all the past episodes of Darkside, so that's the first full season, which I also have an overview for, and the first 5 episodes of Season 2. I also already talked about the Christmas episodes and the Joe Hill comic. So if you want to see me talk about more Darkside, it's getting to be a pretty big playlist. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Tales from the Darkside playlist should pop up here. Have a good day now.